It's our upper bracket matchup in the Tower of Babel, and a spicy match to be kicking off the proceedings here at day 6 of Flashpoint 2. And when we say a spicy matchup, we definitely mean it, because looking at the caliber of teams in this group, this was definitely the hardest group coming into Flashpoint 2. And already an upset has occurred, because Gen.G Hawker, we did not think they'd be making it into this upper bracket.
No, they were meant to be the punching bags of this group. They were meant to be the team that we expected nothing out of. I mean, Exist on that Dignitas lineup was doing nothing. Honestly, you look at his stats on that lineup, it literally was a sea of red. I don't know if he's green-red colorblind or something. Maybe he is, because he's come back onto this team. He's finally doing okay. He was passable, which is all I need from Exist on this lineup, because they've got some good pieces around him. C.R.A.E was the real surprise, though. I think no one was really expecting much out of him. We hadn't really heard much about him, and he played fantastic.
Yeah, he did indeed. And of course, their first opponents were the guys below them in the squad of OG. And again, that was a little bit of a surprise to be seeing them lose out in that fashion, particularly because of some of the results we've seen of them recently, you know, making it to their first ever grand final. Admittedly, not winning it as a squad, but it seemed like, you know, they had more consistent form coming into this.
I would say it's a huge upset, because for me, like, OG in the past 3 or 4 months has beaten essentially any team of any caliber you could pick out in this tournament. Like, on paper, they should have been one of the favourites. It should have been them, Fnatic, Big. There's a reason these teams are ranked, in the case of Big and OG, like top 6 teams in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we want to hear exactly what you are saying on socials. Make sure you're tweeting us on @Flashpoint using the hashtag Flashpoint. And also make sure you head on over to Instagram, where it's Flashpoint_CS. You know, we've been filming a lot of stuff around here, so there might be some cheeky behind the shots for you to take a look at as well. But speaking of which, we've got to be delving into our first matchup of the day. Of course, as we were alluding to, it is Gen.G taking on none other than Virtus.pro. And we were talking about it already earlier. Gen.G definitely the underdogs of the tournament coming into it. Not least because, as you mentioned, Hawker, 2 standards, no less, in this lineup.
It's not like they're even NA stand-ins or anything like that as well. It's Swedish stand-ins. It's a very weird mix of players that you wouldn't expect to instantly work well together. But from what we saw in this game, Exist and C.R.A.E were trying to work together a lot. So they were trying to almost separate the map into these different sections, let the 2 stand-ins play together. Apparently Exist and C.R.A.E had kind of worked some things out before even coming in as stand-ins to this lineup. And it showed. They were locking down the B site on Dust 2. They were doing good things throughout that series.
Yeah, it was impressive to say the least. And I want to touch upon Kusta as well. Obviously now in that in-game leader role. We were chatting with Elmer Puddy before their first matchup here at Flashpoint 2. He was saying, you know, it's been working with him quite a lot. But in that game, you know, not only calling, but actually top fragging in that matchup. Pretty impressive from him.
Yeah, because the big fear, obviously, was Kusta had just found his individual game around Flashpoint 1, actually. Despite his team being underwhelming, he was pretty good. He was kind of killing it in his role. So you worry, taking on a new challenge of being an in-game leader, do your individual skills decay as you work with the rest of the team? But I think, actually, the guy who mentioned, Elmer Puddy, we have to factor this in. If you're going to be a new in-game leader, and your coach can essentially talk to you all the time, and he's a guy who breaks down strategies, and for the odd secondary call, you've got Exist there, one of the great veterans of the game, one of the most decorated players ever. That's not a bad little support network to have, so you can still kind of just do the basics and play your game as well.
Yeah, exactly. When I spoke to Automatic after that first game, you know, I really wanted to get in there and see exactly what Exist was bringing to the team. He was keeping his cards quite close to his chest, but I'm interested to hear from you guys what you kind of saw differently about this Gen.G squad with Kusta taking the reins of the in-game leader. Was there anything specific that you noticed in this matchup that was quite impressive?
I think the obvious thing was just the new guy, C.R.A.E, the one that I didn't even have any hype around him. Like, even the guys for Fnatic who we actually stood in for weren't particularly saying, like, oh, it's going to be incredible. They were, yeah, he could be good, you know. Like, he was actually straight up carrying the first map, I remember, when he's against OG. And these, in theory, have some world-class players on that squad. So I think the sheer composure that he felt comfortable to be able to do that. And it's not like they were just playing basic rush the bomb site counter. They were slowing rounds down. They were allowing these guys some space.
Yeah, that was one of the most impressive things for me, was that they're playing maps like Train, where you normally would need that coordination, but they've actually seemed to come in and be able to play a slower style of Counter-Strike at times. It hasn't just been a mad fragging roster. It hasn't been anything like that. It actually looked pretty composed for them for the most part. That Train was kind of a punish pick, and I've never rated OG's Train, honestly, especially their CT side. I think it's straight up bad at times, some of the things they're doing, but you've got to give credit to Gen.G for being able to point out those weaknesses, to be able to pick them apart, And maybe that means they've got good game plans. If they're willing to lean into maps like Train against OG, one of OG's weaker maps, that could suggest some good preparation for their future games.
Yeah, and of course, we aren't the only people singing the praises of C.R.A.E up here on the desk. Exist also took to Twitter to tell us his thoughts of him as well. 2-0 versus OG. Really fun playing with these boys. Everyone stepped up and C.R.A.E clutched big time. GG's and see you on Sunday, VP. So potentially some confident words coming out of Exist. We don't really get to often hear too much from him. So nice to hear that he's happy with how C.R.A.E is integrated.
Well, what people might not understand is one of the reasons it's his strength and his flaw. One of the reasons why a lot of the analysts think that existing game leading style kind of went off the pale eventually is because he's a very stubborn but a very, very confident individual. Actually, he's very quiet and soft-spoken, but as people might know from some of the legendary sound bites that we heard, don't ever pick cash against me, motherfucker. This is a guy who, he does think that he was very instrumental to winning those championships and winning a majors, and he's actually one of the players with among the most trophies in the entire history of CSGO.
Well, hopefully he'll be instrumental coming into this next matchup. But of course, as we were alluded to, it's going to be VP taking to the stage against Gen.G. And we actually all bet against them on that first day. We didn't talk about who we were going to be predicting. Everybody went with Cloud9, we were fully on that C9 hype train. But VP, they proved exactly why. They should be regarded as one of the best teams here.
The trouble is, even though VP, listen, if it's against a team with like all the potential of Cloud9 and superstar players, people with top 20 players in the world, listen, I can pick against them in that scenario, but against a lot of other teams in this tournament, you have to respect that this core has been together for something like 2 or 3 years. Obviously, it was literally in the final of a major last year. They definitely are very comfortable with all those players where they play. Buster, Kicker, Jame, they're just a known household quantity in the CIS region now. And then you add in the new guy, Yakinda. Like, he's been a revelation this year. He's already like an MVP level player for them. So all of a sudden, this squad looks actually pretty well rounded for this field of teams.
Yeah, let's focus a bit on Yakinda as well. Why was he so instrumental in that first game, Hawker?
I mean, with the Yakinda, it always comes back to the aggression, but I think it also comes back to how VP have incorporated him into this team. In your interview even with Yakinda, Freya, he was saying that Buster was actually giving up his spots for Yakinda, right? Buster's been in this core since 2017 with these guys, and yet he's willing to give up some of his roles to make sure the new guy can play at his best level. And too often, you don't see that from teams. But when you pick up Yakinda, you've got to put him in those roles. He's so skilled as a player, you've got to put him in those aggressive spots, and Buster's still able to take the aggression sometimes. It's a bit more tempered now though, and I feel like Buster is even getting more success in his opening fights because he doesn't have to go for them all the time.
Yeah, I know Alan was, we were having a little bit of a chat before the first day of Flashpoint. He was talking about, is it Yakinda or Buster really being that star player for the roster? But it's nice to see them sort of working together as a team, and I think that's what's so impressive about them. But somebody else that was also very impressive in that first game was, of course, Jame, because his clutch ability, it was astronomical in that first match.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we can make all the jokes we want. Like, this guy wins clutches, to be fair. It's one of the reasons why he tries to hand back. He tries to save his situation. In theory, he has a good mind for when to save, when not. I'm not as big a fan. I'm a little bit skeptical, but in this game in particular, I mean, he was dominant. Look, like he's taken all the right off angles. People are peeking in him. He's hitting the shot every time. He repositions, and he was winning the clutches, so you can't complain. He wasn't over-saving in this game. I actually feel like in this one, it's one of those ones where he kind of proved us wrong for a game.
Yeah, he did. Obviously, Jame time up there in the top left corner. I absolutely love that addition. But we can see this on Overpass, obviously the second map of that series. They did manage to seal it. But it was another crazy clutch again at the end of the matchup, Hawker. I believe it was a Buster and Kicker that managed to convert that 2v4 into a round win for them. So it did get closer in that second match.
Yeah, definitely got closer on the second map. I think as well, a factor we have to point out is obviously Cloud9 haven't had that much time to work together. My question is, can Jame keep up that sort of clutching against a team that's maybe a bit more well-drilled? Because normally when you're an AWPer in those 1v2s, those 1v3s, it's not normally going to be easy to isolate those fights. Jame did a really good job at it in that game. He might be able to do the same here against Gen.G though, and that is scary if you are Gen.G.
It is indeed. But of course, before we jump into the matchup, we've got to see exactly what maps we are going to be playing out on. I love being able to delve into the maps a little bit more this time. Of course, we know what VP are going to be picking. Well, we have an illusion of what VP are going to be picking into because they have a little bit more experience with that roster. But Gen.G being a bit new, I'm wondering if you think there's going to be any spicy picks coming out.
Well, obviously, I mean, VP pretty much always will have trade in the map pool. I mean, they've got Jame, of course, so I mean, it went so well for Gen.G the first time around. There's got to be something potentially on the menu there. Actually, a map that, I mean, we found this out at the major last year. You wouldn't think it'd be that great for them, but Virtus.pro can be surprisingly good on DOS too, I have to say. I have to give them credit. They're not a bad team on that at all. Feels like Mirage is more towards the middle of the pool for each team. What are you feeling? Like we saw the Overpass there. Do you think that would be a good one to pick into if you're Virtus.pro?
I think Gen.G banned Overpass in their first game,
Right.
so there's definitely a possibility that Gen.G are just going to get rid of that straight away. I'm not sure how much time they've had, but I wouldn't expect them to have a 7-map pool, so they have just gone straight away and removed that Overpass, so that's not an option. Now for VP, their permaban should be Nuke, sorry. They should just get that out of there, and then we'll see what Gen.G decide to pick, because they could go a few ways with this.
Well, an obvious punish pick, if you're the guys on VP as well to look out for is it likely that a brand new lineup's played Vertigo? That at least has to be on the table. You have to at least think about that, because does Virtus.pro want to go with Comfort, or do they want to go with the punish pick? I have to say, this is something we mentioned yesterday about the Dust 2 game. Another reason you might like Dust 2 is because actually those 2 Swedish players in Gen.G were playing the B bomb site on their own, apparently talking in Swedish. So if I even heard that on the broadcast and I played Dust 2, I might like to go into that. Like, that's a setup I'd like to abuse a lot there, because it means even the communication between the site and the rest of the map is going to be off.
Yeah, that's what you try and exploit there, right? Those rotations between A and B. And that's such an important part of Dust 2. You have to know exactly when you can rotate over. If you kind of give up that A site too easily, if you're not there in time, you kind of just have to save at times. So there's a lot to talk about there if Dust 2 comes through. For Gen.G, they just go straight for that train pick again. Look, it looked good yesterday.
Yeah.
VP have a pretty well-rounded map pool outside of Nuke, though, their permaban.
Yes.
I think they're good on basically everything. So there was no clear punish pick. This suggests to me Gen.G are just very comfortable on this map.
Yeah, it shows that they don't think that wasn't just only a punish for the guys from OG. Like, they're actually willing to go into a team that is no joke on it. And here's the thing, I think this will be a much tougher game, because the CT side from Virtus.pro, I'm expecting to be a lot better.
The other thing for Gen.G is you can't play 2 B on train most of the time. Normally you start with 1 at B. It was Kriaz playing that B site, and then it was normally automatic rotating over with either the AWP or sometimes the rifle. So they might not have that same connection between Exist and Kriaz on that CT side, which is definitely something to think about. Now for VP, normally Inferno's a pretty good pick for them. Dust 2 can sometimes be in there, but for the most part, if VP can pick Inferno, they generally just go for it. They've beaten Na'Vi twice on this map now. It's just a super solid pick for them.
And again, another map where when you've had a core together as long as they've had them, you have all the protocols down. You know who's going where. Whereas you're playing against a team that, listen, everyone in theory can play Inferno, but there's a difference between the levels that you can play it at, the nuance once you get into a very difficult game and where you have to really manage what you're doing there. So the interesting thing now is, I'm pretty certain one of these teams, I'm going to guess it's Gen.G, is just going to veto Vertigo. So get that out of here right now. So there's a real possibility, could have Dust 2. I mean, I guess, well, the real question is this, does Gen.G play Vertigo? Which is what we'll actually find out now. Because basically they're the ones that have the first ban. So they ban Dust. So they're saying, listen, we play Vertigo as well. Obviously, their team has always played Mirage. So they're effectively daring Virtus.pro to pick Vertigo, as far as I can tell. And that is what is selected. So listen, if Gen.G can win this series, and it's on the 3rd map, one of the real tricky maps to get down, that will actually show that, like, we have to take all preconceptions about what's happening with this standing off the table.
Yeah, 100%. And maybe we should start off by talking about that first map, which is, of course, going to be Train. Again, you guys were alluding to it here. We saw them looking super solid on it earlier in the competition against OG. So where do we need to see, the repetitions coming from this Gen.G side? What should we be looking for them to be repeating coming into this?
The big concern is, without giving away any spoilers, the OG guys were somewhat struggling to actually sort of read where the attacks were coming from. I think they probably just expected some very simple ABC Counter-Strike. You see one thing, right, it's probably going to be something simple there. They weren't expecting rounds to slow down, for people to do pressure pushes on one side of the map and then try and fight another area and then maybe pivot what you're going to do entirely. So I think the difference is, when you play against Virtus.pro, they have a whole playbook. And they have many different weapons as well, and they have the cohesion there. So I need to see way better than even the first time for Gen.G in my book.
Yeah, I also think for Gen.G, it was their T side that they just dominated on. They got, 12 rounds there? I doubt they can do that again, honestly, starting on the T side here. I think OG just looked a little off at times in terms of their team play. I think they were struggling to hold down specifically that A main position. I expect VP to do a lot of a better job at that. I think their nades will be better to stop any of those early A main pushes, which Gen.G were getting away with so many times. And Gen.G, honestly, they ran that same push out through A main quite a few times, where they put the smoke down towards Sandwich, they get towards Green Train, they get out towards Olaf, and then they'd start to try and isolate fights. And OG kept falling for it. I assume that VP will have done their homework. They'll have seen that setup. And normally teams are really good at being able to push behind that sort of blue train area, isolate some of those fights. So I think we're going to have to see more depth from Gen.G, but there's definitely a world in which they didn't even have to show everything, because they beat OG so handily on this map.
I think with that, we should put some players under the microscope before we're jumping into this first best of 3 of the day. It's going to be Yakinda and our surprise kind of, incredible performance from C.R.A.E as well. So what are the comparisons we're drawing between these two?
Well, they obviously were the 2 big fraggers for the team. The difference is, kind of alluding to what you said about Alan's take, like, Yakinda, he's come into this team to be firepower. He hasn't come in like you normally join a veteran team, like you're going to take a different role, maybe you work your way into that. He's come in and they've essentially said, we're going to build a platform from which you're going to be our star player. And thus far, it has looked very good. Like, you never get to really notice, is his decision-making flawed? Is he understanding when to sacrifice? Because he just goes in, they set him up, and he just frags out. So, perfect scenario for a young player in that regard. For C.R.A.E, that's the issue, is he fragged out in the first game, but I want to get a sense for, like, how much of that was just him making reads, him making plays? How much were they actually trying to set him up in that regard? Like, you would think it would be Dntel, it would be automatic. These guys would try and frag out of control and be the one-man army each.
Yeah, that's a big question for sure. I also think in terms of the styles of these players, Yakinda are probably more aggressive. He is probably one of the most aggressive players in the world right now. Actually, looking at entry stats, he's like slightly behind Arts and some of those guys.
Aggressive.
Exactly. He's got the CIS mindset behind him. For C.R.A.E, I don't think he's quite as aggressive. I was actually looking at the entry stats. Kusta was doing most of the entry work for Gen.G on their T sides, and then C.R.A.E was second in that sense. So he was playing somewhat aggressive alongside Kusta, and those were the 2 that were actually top rated for Gen.G. Those were the 2 opening up a lot of rounds. So that's definitely something worth looking at.
There you go, shout out Rounders, 1998. One of Matt Damon's better performances.
That's literally the year I was born, Thorin, so I'm not going to get
You are
that
allowed
reference.
to watch things from before you're born.
Oh, really?
You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know you just didn't pay attention in history class or whatever. You're like, it's 1800s. I was born in 1980.
Well,
1998, apparently, so whatever.
Moving on, gentlemen.
What was I up
Last
to in
time we
1998?
visited this group, it was a bit of a rip for our predictions. So we're going to take a quick look at our leaderboard to see exactly where everybody is standing coming into today. Of course, tonight will be the forfeit for whoever is down at the bottom of the pack.
So,
Currently,
I believe
it's
in Semler.
Semler, but Bardolph, man, he's at the top with that goal. Look how much of a lead he has on everybody.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, he went 750 on someone yesterday who won. I think in the second game. I think he put it
Oh,
all
no,
on
he
Dig.
put on Datassette, of course.
Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, 750 on Dig. That was James' prediction for yesterday. I've been slowly falling down the leaderboard. All of us lot down at the bottom of the pack. So I'm hoping you guys have potentially made some spicy predictions today to save yourself from that forfeit.
No, I've just picked the 2 favourites, so that's just what I do. You have to understand. Listen, I'm not going to take a chance when there's forfeits involved. When it's all fun and games, yeah. But I want to see someone else get humiliated.
Well, speaking of which, we may potentially see Semler getting humiliated tonight, and he is joining the wonderful James Bardolph for this next matchup.
And not because he's just casting with Bardolph. That's rude. that was just an awkward segue, okay?
Definitely didn't mean it like
of course
that.
not.
But I want to hear your thoughts for this upcoming game and who you've gone with for your pinnacle predictions on this one.
I know we were having a bit of a debate over breakfast if we could flip-flop with our bets, because I saw the odds 4-1.
You want the Gen.G?
Yeah.
Gen.G, and I was like, do I do it?
Okay.
Because I'm sitting at the bottom of the pack right now. Wait, what? Did I put 750 on Virtus.pro?
That's not a good sign. I'm just going to say that's not a good sign,
I'm
Sam.
pretty sure I didn't put 750 on Virtus.pro. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, apparently production says this is what you have, so this is
Right.
what
That
you've
is
got
what
to
I
go
have.
with,
So
Semler.
fine, fair enough. Let's ride or
Unfortunately-
die.
Can we
Bardolph,
audit
let's get with
the
it.
predictions,
Let's do it.
please?
Well, you guys have got 400 each, and I believe we can take a quick look at the people that aren't joining us for the broadcast here, but almost everybody apart from, of course, Anders,
Of course.
going with Gen.G.
Of
Anders has got
course.
to.
I've gone for the minimum bet because I'm going big body on the next one.
Ooh.
You know, I'm still sticking with the UK mans, but we can talk about that later. So I got my 250. I think I'm in a reasonable spot, you know, in first place, unless something terrible happens. So we'll see. I'm hoping. I want a Cloud9 win, but that's for later. For now, you know, I think VP should come on top here, but I just want to get as much as possible. I'm going all in for later, but we'll see what happens.
Listen,
Respect.
the thing is that this is a
Respect.
winning strategy. I feel like next game is the 50-50 of the day. It could go either way.
Yeah.
It could really break you. You know,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
would have just been the spice. Just get in there, 400. Let's go. Right. Just try and make it back on Gen.G. But VP are pretty heavily favored in this match. It feels like.
Well, we'll of course be checking in with our casters in just a moment, but we need to hear what you guys are saying at home. We of course want to see the fan votes for this one. 68% going with VP. So a lot of CIS fans may be coming out here to support them. I think that's a pretty solid prediction.
I'd go the other way and go, who are the 32% who actually think Gen.G is going to win? Or can we check in on them? Should that be 100% VP? I'm amazed that many people just think the first game's going to translate over. You know, it's a new day. It's a new opponent.
Anders has been out here
It's
influencing
the same old
people,
exist.
man. It's got to be Anders. He's
Yeah.
just convincing
He
everyone.
has his botnet. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that old one he used to use to take down very games online in the games against Snip. Yeah, we all know Anders. I'm on to you, son.
Well, if you guys want to put your money where your mouth is, make sure you're heading on over to pinnacle.com where you can check out all the latest odds for all of our matches here at Flashpoint 2. But with that, I think it's just about time to be getting into our game. It's going to be Virtus.pro taking on Gen.G and the wonderful Semler, and James will be guiding you through this one.
96 big body sitting on Chrome.
I missed that. What did he say?
Something about Chrome. Something sitting on something. I don't know. Just have to guess
Thank
on
you,
that
Dundgren.
one. Well then, there's a lot to play for amongst the talent here, and there certainly is amongst these two teams as well, Gen.G and Virtus.pro. We'll start off the proceedings on Train. Virtus.pro will be defending. Got to be a heavy favourite coming into this one. We've seen some upsets from Gen.G already.
Yeah.
The question is, can they do it again?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what all the debate is going on about. All right, we'll get it. Duncan will explain to me what he was doing later. Getting into this one right, I think Duncan's spot on. It's a new day. It's a new opponent. Are you going to be able to pull an upset off again with stand-ins versus a team that has an established core and that really should be just firing on all cylinders in this match? Odds are no. But there's always that chance. Anders believes it. I almost did. You know, that Gen.G could pull the upset here. So we definitely want to keep our eye on it. But Virtus.pro right now, not their map pick here. Gen.G get their map pick to start, but they're no slouch.
I think Yekindar got some sound cues of Gen.G moving towards the B bomb site, which caused a rotation. You can see Sanji going deep as well now by Connector. And maybe this is by design, Gen.G. With those sound cues and quietly make their way back towards Connector.
Is he spotting him or not? Just barely. There it is. He's just not quite going to commit far enough, though. And Yekindar, he turns back around, and two players there to take him out. Already kicking it off. Kickert, though, does manage to drop one in the meantime.
Oh, they haven't gone all the way in towards A. Despite Kusta lurking in the Ivy position, VP have gone back 2-3 on A. There we go, Kusta lurking in the meantime. It looks like the bomb will head towards that B bomb site. Now, we've got KiNK playing from the back. Buster on the A site with the kit. There's a flash from Kriaz, but no follow-up. So again, maybe suggesting that they're lurking towards the B bomb site. Now, Kusta still holding an off angle on Ivy. I would imagine he's going to have to make a play. No, here they go, straight in. Finally committing. Rotation's coming through, so Kusta will be coming in from the back. Kriaz fishing for something. VP just waiting for everyone to get into position.
I am so surprised. This is a similar strategy that was used against OG. And in that one, they managed to sell the fake by just having the one player push Ivy and draw everybody from OG over towards that A site. Here, this time around, it's Gen.G pulling the trigger early, and it's the over-rotation over towards the B site that creates the room here on the A site for Gen.G to then wrap and get the bomb plant.
The seesaw, back and forth they go. Less than 10 seconds as the bomb gets planted, but they have some position. They have some. Very important that Virtus.pro have Ivy with Jamin Buster. Really important for the retake. Sanji starting off well, round the ladder. KiNK makes his way down the ladder, but can he survive? No, denied now, leaving Jamin alone 1 versus 2. Picked up the kit, but can he find the frags? He's got a smoke as well. Maybe he's lucky enough. He does have Kevlar, as it wasn't him carrying the kit in the first place. So there is a chance. Perhaps the knife comes out. Going for it, trying to hide as much as possible. 2 seconds. Show me the blade. Will there be a knife? No, he's done it. In front of 2 players. The knife comes eventually, but all too late. Virtus.pro steal it in broad daylight.
What a sick play from James. That's what it's all about. He just sticks it, no hesitation, turns his back as well, trying to minimize the profile, avoid that headshot. But that was, what a round coming in from Gen.G as well with the double fake, as you pointed out, is the seesaw. One side, then back to the other, just completely throwing Gen.G for a loop.
Oh, no. It just went past him with the knife.
Yeah, just totally whiffed him in the smoke. That was so sick.
That's nuts.
Dude, that's the start that VP needed.
Yeah, it really is. And that's so unfortunate for Gen.G. They pulled VP from pillar to post, outmaneuvered them, only to get slapped in the face with a wet fish.
Oh, man, that's so unfortunate. But you can't lose hope. It's the first round, and they've gone for the force buy into this. So Gen.G definitely not done, not rolling over in this. Double AK, Mac 10, Scout is the firepower here for Gen.G. And if they catch somebody, this is some clever stuff here. We'll see. Does Buster get caught by this? Has no idea. No way. No way of knowing. Exist boosted up above the smoke, picks up the kill. Man advantage now for Gen.G.
We can see that Virtus.pro prioritized the rifles over the utility. So they will have range. But now with that lack of utility, I do wonder if they'll be compelled to try and make an aggressive play with their man disadvantage. Or maybe a gamble stack on a bomb site, since they are devoid of information at present. See KiNK alone on B. they do have aggressive positions, very forward positions on the A bomb site. And indeed, you can see Yekindar on the radar is just going to jiggle his way to find out what's going on the A bomb site, trying to play for time. That could be pretty useful. However, KiNK now leaving the B bomb site as Gen.G make their way towards B.
50-50 gamble, right? You hold on to the rifles for the next round. If Gen.G manages to swarm this and take over B site, fair enough. You hold on to the guns for the next round and you keep fighting. Otherwise, you know, you hope that they come to A and you obliterate them with a superior firepower. But that's just not going to be the case. Quick rotation coming in here. KiNK trying to get back over here towards the B site quickly. If he can find a kill early, that would be the go signal here for Virtus.pro. But I really doubt VP go for this retake. It's going to be so hard for them to pull it off.
Well,
unless they start getting kills like this early. If Gen.G's just start giving kills over, never mind.
Yeah, that's it. It's one of those awkward ones where they'll fish for something, but at some point, you wonder what the point is where they call it. Maybe losing one player. Allowed to get enough position to lose a lot of weapons there. And again, that's a difficulty with having no utility to try and take some forward map control or something to make it hard for Gen.G. More or less had to wait for their fate. Jiggling at main was most of what we saw there. They did lose a lot of firepower on that kind of half-assed retake.
They did.
Just dipped a toe in the water and ended up losing a leg.
Yeah, exactly. The Gen.G shark just took it off at the knee. I really thought that VP would be thinking, okay, if we get a kill early, cool. But then they keep pushing, and this is not how it was supposed to go. Because you don't push into Kusta, you wait for Kusta to push into you. And so now, well, yeah, that ends up costing Virtus.pro in a real way. They're going to go for the force buy in this round. Yeah, a little bit delayed, but they will try and make something happen. But it feels like VP could have had superior firepower for this round as well, or at least could have gone toe-to-toe with Gen.G. Instead, now it's Gen.G who, you know, you can see they've got a FAMAS, they've got an AUG, they're fully bought up, and they have every advantage in this one.
Yeah, they really have made it awkward for themselves. I thought Koreas might take more damage than that there. Only 25, not too shabby. I forget the team which has the grenade combo for the pop dog position, where they have a molly that forces Sanji, for example, in, and then double HEs. So once they move forward to avoid the molly, they go into double HEs and die many a time. I saw it happen to Azza a long time ago, but I forget maybe it was Vegas Squadron, someone like that, but don't really see it these days. I thought that kind of thing would be picked up by a lot of teams, but hasn't been the case. Gen.G with a slow approach, giving VP a chance to hang themselves. Again, we've got Yekindar playing pretty close to main with that AUG. Again, he's trying to Gen.G, trying to force him into an error-making situation, holding on to that smoke for as long as possible. So what is the play here from Gen.G? They're still quite spread out with 40 seconds on the clock.
They have to be. They don't want to run it too far down, because if it gets chaotic, that might favor Virtus.pro. And yeah, we're already seeing 2 kills with those Deagles chiming in for VP. The remaining 3 for Gen.G trying to move out from A main. They're going to be blunt about this, and they are getting caught. The smoke working against them, down to 25 seconds. AUG is in play, and, well, a couple of duels go the way of Gen.G. They can still turn this around. It's not over yet. But Sanji, all he needs to do is stay alive. He can be here, the hero for Virtus.pro, and even just deny that bomb plant in a moment. Oh, look at this clever stuff, though. 10 seconds. Does he have time? He's going to just barely make it.
Oh, my God. I can't believe what a read. It's given him a chance. Now we've got Bente up top. 45 HP for him. There's no kit for these remaining players. There's a flash for Buster. That's about it. I can't believe Gen.G have found themselves a bomb plant. Great spatial awareness, but can they do more than that? Automatic stuck on default at present on the high ground. Very difficult for him to take fights here, but he doesn't know where he can rotate because of the man advantage. Spots KiNK by Oil. Down he goes. 2 versus 2 now. Bentet not seen just yet. Now Sanji's at Oil. Surely he's got an angle on Automatic, who still survives. Unbelievable stuff. That's a round Virtus.pro had to win. Surely.
What is this mad lad stuff coming out of Gen.G? That is so sick. And this might, I mean, the Pug life, if they truly embrace it, dude, and they start going for some crazy plays like that, no pressure on them. That's one thing to keep in mind. It's going to make it difficult to predict what Gen.G are capable of. Because they're Pug, they've got nothing on their back riding on this. There's money on the line, but expectations are very low because they've got this Pug aspect to fall on. So if they just go, if it's always just going to be off the seat of their pants, well, we can get rounds like that where they just get a read and run with it.
After that Deagle shot from KiNK, Deagle kill rather, on upper B, VP immediately put 4 players on the A bomb site. Such strong position. Maybe a bit too aggressive, peeking into main with 20 seconds left when they had so many players alive. They could simply just it was basically impossible to plant the bomb at that point. So that is a very unfortunate collapse for Virtus.pro. And this has to be a frustrating start to train for them, especially from such a strong position.
Without a doubt. Yeah, these are rounds where they're going to feel like they got a little robbed. And well, now I mean you are still going for the force buy scenario here from Virtus.pro. They refuse to tap out. These rounds have been close, so they just keep thinking, man, if we're patient, we can squeak it here. But 3 on B this time around from Virtus.pro. Very early on, waiting for Gen.G to try and see if they're going to commit to this. A little bit of room getting created by Bentet. Yekender with a clever angle does manage to spot out Kreese, does not find the kill, but forces him back. And this allows for Bentet to go poking around here on the B site. But the bomb is yet to be committed anywhere. There's 50 seconds on the clock, and the bomb is back in T-spawn.
Surely Bentet gets a kill here. I don't think they realize that someone's on the B bomb site. There it is, but he can't find the spray, can't land it. Now again, look at the rotation from VP. Every time they kill that one player on the B bomb site, they immediately start moving to A, expecting that to fast forward Gen.G's plays. But they're going slow once more, and again, this kind of shortens their own margin for error, Gen.G. Let's say the bomb carrier gets dropped in an awkward position and the comms aren't there. 24 seconds, not through a choke point just yet, beyond the ladder of Pop Dog. 19 seconds on the clock. They have to plant this bomb. Let's not forget, there's no way they win this round by frags first. Sanji around the corner of V-Box, spots many players. Well, so far so good, 2 down. Here comes KiNK, clues to cleaning squad, and all of a sudden they've got great position on the A-bomb site.
This is so unreal. That they keep running the clock down this way, James, and just keep barely getting the bomb down in time. Virtus.pro just have no idea what to expect anymore. They're waiting and just trying to pounce, and they keep getting slapped around. Gen.G fixing to get a 3rd round on the board here. And Jamie, yeah, okay, he did manage to find that AK left behind by Bentet. So if he can hold on to this for the next round, I mean, again, they're always going to have a little bit of firepower if they keep saving these guns, VP.
Yeah, that's really wild. And I think the focus for Gen.G has to be keep Virtus.pro poor. Even if they're in a round losing situation, it has to be expensive for them. That's one of the greatest advantages. If Virtus.pro don't have the tools to defend the choke points properly, that'll make their jobs easier for them. Someone's definitely OCD with the rubbish, just putting everything neatly. Because I feel like if you're gamers, you're expecting more of a mess, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty clean. I respect it.
Not too many bottles on the tables either.
Yeah.
It's very considerate of them.
It's very organized
professional.
and mature.
Professional land dudes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got some of these guys who this isn't their first rodeo. I mean, Exist has been around in CS:GO forever now, right?
Yeah. Automatic's quite a gentleman as well. He's a very kind human.
Yeah, good people. You want to see them do well. Feels like they've been out in the wild for a while now, Gen.G. But so far, at least they're off to a terrific start here on Train. 3 rounds on the board. That, however, is not going to pan out their way. Yekender are going to find the first kill in this round.
Have a look at the confidence, though. After he gets the kill, he just runs looking at the gun. He has no concern of if anybody else is around the corner or anything. They seem to have an idea of what Gen.G might be up to in some of these situations. The bomb is still in T-spawn, and have a look at James' position as well. This is, I don't know how they've both got to this spot, but here they are. In the meantime, Gen.G moving up Ivy, off angles being held by Sanji with his pistol. Sanji with a P250, pays for itself. Best gun in the game, if you ask me. KiNK's making his way over as well. I understand there's presence. You can see VP collapsing on this position now with a 3rd and a 4th player. As Yekender will defend the bomb alone. So awkward for Gen.G, trying to isolate the fight, but this is only half the task. We can see Kriaz and Bentet moving towards the bomb at the same time. Stereo frags for Gen.G. There's more to do, however, but KiNK's only got a USP. But this is wasting time for them. Bomb security is the key, and that's been secured as well. Once more, it falls apart for Virtus.pro. Was a half buy, if you will. But again, there's opportunities that have come and gone.
Yeah, missed, but they were trying to make that a little bit more expensive, but Gen.G kept their cool the entire time. I'm really impressed with the level that we're seeing from Gen.G. They are just getting the read on VP round after round here. We will get the buy round coming in from VP, however, so we could see that change now. They get some nades on the board. They're going to have some rifles to play with here. Things could get interesting. But yeah, looking a little nonplussed.
That's a great chandelier, though.
That is a great chandelier. That's out there.
I respect that. That's really nice.
It's a lot of crystal.
When I was a teenager,
very shiny.
I was at a sleepover at my mate's house, and we were all in the living room. and he had like a crappy, like a chandelier, right? And it fell off and landed on his head, and he was next to me. They cut his head open, and they took him to hospital, and then came back, and I've slept through the entire thing. It's days when I could sleep, and I just woke up, he wasn't there, and there was blood on the floor, and I was like, where's Lee gone? It's like, well, while you were asleep, James, the chandelier landed next to you on his head, blah, blah, blah. So that was the thing.
What? How do you...
I don't know. I can't sleep anymore. Anyway, back into the game, please, because Bentet with a spawn-based timing, I think he wanted a 180 as well. Took out Sanji as he tries to make his way towards the laddering, but Yekindar will secure the position. Always a nice pick to get. Normally, you could make the call, all right, ladder secure, down you go. However, Yekindar says no. And as we've seen in just a few rounds here early on, he's been instrumental in taking some aggressive position. Hasn't always been fruitful for them, but the intention is good.
Wanting to make plays. You need that kind of confidence to get in here and start trying to win those duels. If you're just going to try and, you know, hold angles passively, sometimes that's going to cost you. You need to take some initiative. And so Yekindar holding main right now. Exist is going to be making sure that he can't push in here. And in the meantime, Gen.G still just running down this clock. It's some of the most patient CS that we've seen. And this out of a pug, not even out of a full-on roster.
I like this angle from Yekindar. See if it works out for him. Oh, there we go. Lovely jiggling from Exist, because that forklift thing is normally where you'd stand as a CT once you've taken this position. So he's trying to play the unusual angles and catch them off guard. You can see he'll avoid that flashbang. He should know that Exist is on the way. He's trapped now, but he is wasting time as well. That's a big frag for Gen.G that opens the A bomb site. We can see the bomb in the ladder room in Pop Dog with a number of players. James, good trigger discipline. Focus, but where are the remainder of the players? 20 seconds now for them to run. Boosting over the smoking ladder, and down goes James. Buster now begging for that clock to be his friend. He's got KiNK, who runs distraction versus Amoli as well, who almost gets the kill on the bomb carrier. Bentet now desperately has to plant the bomb. KiNK, can he get there in time? Yes, no, he can't actually. Automatic 1 versus 2, a flurry of kills from VP, but can they get their second round on the board? Does Buster go for it? He's got an angle to actually defuse this bomb, but no kit. Will this force Automatic forward? Just holding, maybe not believing, goes for the flick. 4 HP now for Automatic. As you hold on to the AWP, he'll have to. Finally, Virtus.pro back on the board.
Man, but by the finest of margins, James, right? So close. You're just thinking one shot there from Automatic, or if he's able to get out through that main entrance. Let's see again the replay here as Bentet, turning away from any flashes, lands that shot perfectly. And well, this is so frustrating because, I mean, you're seeing these kinds of plays coming in from Gen.G. Exist creating a movement there, Automatic with the boost kill, still not able to collect that round. But look at this, Virtus.pro. They're feeling the heat, dude. They've already called for a second tactical timeout.
That was a really sick kill from Bentet to avoid the flashes.
Yeah, I really like that. That's all the details. There's a lot of skill, individual skill on Gen.G.
Yeah. Bentet really is. He is like a proper unicorn. Yeah. Considering the region he comes from and how much of a struggle it is for them to regularly play like European Counter-Strike, for example. I've gone to like Asian minors before, and I just had some bizarre games where like Cash, for example, nobody would ever go mid until it was like triple overtime. Then we're like, well, maybe we should take mid and split a bomb site, you know, things like this. So the fact that he's playing top flight Counter-Strike in Europe, having to fight through that stuff, and a multiple language and so on is absolutely bananas. That guy is probably a member of Mensa as well.
Ooh, Sanji though. Bold peek with that FAMAS, manages to win the duel versus Kreese to kick things off here in this round. And VP, it seems like they've perhaps had a game plan going in here, getting aggressive again. And the smoke going down to block off Kusta. Kusta's going to try and draw attention over here, however, because these 3 teammates are working their way up Ivy right now, clearing out that portion of the map. And so Virtus.pro could be on the edge of getting caught in a sandwich here in a moment if Kusta survives. Kusta just needs to stay alive here, but he's going to get spotted on the edge of the smoke, tries to get clever, and that's going to cost him.
James had angles on Ivy, and Sanji's here to do what he can. Good for 1, a double from James. That's not too shabby. Survivor 4 as well. Great way to end the round. And I think with how difficult it's been for Virtus.pro, that's a good boost. We could see them getting hyped there with KiNK on the camera in the round prior. So it's a nice way to get an injection of energy. Headshot through the chest of his teammate.
Why not? And no follow-up. So let's see. We will get that buy. And Gen.G, that was an attempt at that split on A. Virtus.pro, though, with the aggression early on, definitely worked for them, and it's looking like they're going to do more of the same here for Virtus.pro. This time powering up the Pop Dog as quickly as possible. It's Yekindar getting in position. And in the meantime, Automatic, is he going to catch anybody peeking here? He sees that nade. Might be a little bit of a tell for him, might be making him think. But yeah, he's going to go through it full on. Let's go. Young Stu in action, and there's Automatic. Catches Jame in the open.
Absolutely beautiful. He's taken position. Oh, look at that trade as well. That angle is outrageous. Yekindar and KiNK with not much to do. Maybe there's a chance, however. 2 versus 3. Hasn't got an angle for the bomb KiNK, but he is starting to creep. Now, does he go for something straight away? A lot of angles to cover. Automatic has picked the right one at just the right time. That leaves Yekindar in a 1 versus 3. New man for the squad coming from Prostop. Very promising ratings on this player. And he's been consistent from what we've seen on him, but I think we might be asking too much on this occasion.
1v3, near impossible. He needed to get that kill to have a chance. Now the element of surprise is gone, and he should be backing off to save this AK, especially because the economy now is just going to be in tatters for Virtus.pro. You can't win a couple of rounds like that, have them be close though, and then still manage to keep it together. Last round was solid, so I mean, there's a little bit of money on Jame, there's a little bit of money on Buster. It might put them again within that range of wanting to go for the force buy. We saw that at the beginning of the half, that they were playing pretty aggressive economically here. And so Yekindar could drop a FAMAS for somebody, and you could actually get a fairly reasonable buy here for Virtus.pro.
That is quite the trade from Automatic. Really impressive stuff. Still on the AWP. It's funny because Kusta became quite a dab hand with. I mean, he's not too shabby a rifler either, but he grew into, you know, he found himself with the AWP in terms of his personality after, you know, being put on the higher ends a bit too early. But now with the rifle, he'll make an entry onto Pop Dog, and there'll be quick problems for Gen.G, or for Virtus.pro rather. Kriaz has been picked off by Yekindar. He's been so important on this A bomb site, despite the few rounds we've seen from Virtus.pro. Making a lot of these aggressive plays, really trying to slow things down around this main position. Pallate now holding angles towards Sandwich. Doesn't have a molly for it right now. Saw one from Kusta on the round prior.
Ooh, but VP now are gambling. They don't see any presence on A now, especially as the smoke's clear. Nobody over towards Ivy either. Jame is holding this position, and so they've rotated an extra man over towards that B defense. Kicker has been hanging out over here this whole time. Yekindar's now over, and Sanji is not far away. This could get dicey for Gen.G in a moment's time here. What do we have? We have a couple smokes, though, for Gen.G, so they could still get the lower smoke.
Well, KiNK's starting to get curious. Oh, boy, he's in for some trouble if he keeps peeking. Oh, he swungs, and he saw 4 of them, and in they go. However, well, never mind. There is no however, really. Yekindar's alone now. His teammate's being taken out by Automatic. He's playing for the multi-frag. No one up top just yet. Bentec with an instant trade. Gen.G using the numbers well. Automatic with his AWP has been quite something. 10-4 at present. A lot of impact frags as well from Automatic with that AWP.
Mm-hmm. So nice to see there from Yekindar, though. I really like that kind of reach. You're up the creek without a paddle already in that round. It's going to take some heroics, and it's going to take some risk. And so holding on the shot, trying to bait a second target out into the open. It's unfortunate that Automatic just happened to turn his way there towards the end. But they are just getting swarmed right now, Gen.G, or rather Virtus.pro are getting swarmed. Gen.G are just all over the place right now.
Yeah, it's been a very difficult half for Virtus.pro in terms of money. Jame has the AWP, which is something.
They aren't getting the kills. That's the issue. They're getting aggressive, VP, like that round, you know, trying to get into Pop Dog fast, right? Trying to get in position to challenge Gen.G. It's just that Gen.G keep getting there a split second early. And so this is, yeah, Bentec collecting that kill. That really threw things completely out of whack.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. Now, Jame has pretty much the best spawn possible with the AWP as far as the A bomb site's concerned. So we'll see what he chooses to do with it. It's the normal angle first. CTs will always get there before the Ts will on the other side. Gen.G with a very fast focus towards B once again. And we can see the rotation. It will be heard by the player in the Pop Dog. Automatic just looking for those hyper-aggressive battle sniper kills. Love to see them.
Well, Tim's got no fear. But I'm curious to see if Sanji can get up this ladder. Kreese is holding it off angle as well, just trying to bait him in. Gen.G should be aware that VP should be on an eco round right now, that their economy should be broken after that last buy. So they're just holding for the aggression, just waiting to see if Virtus.pro are going to be the ones to just try and throw luck to the wind and get in here for a fight. Not going to be the case, though, VP. Showing some patience. You know how lethal Deagles are these days, man. You can't even throw these rounds away anymore. You have to just try all the time because, oh, he doesn't get the headshot. That looked so close.
45 seconds on the clock. Gen.G with a good spread. Slowly backing away from IV. It's basically holding map control, so if VP went for any plays, they would be able to deal with them. Now, Jame and the AWP are towards the A bomb site. Bomb just waiting. Oh, Benset! There's a ding, but can he find the Dong Yekenda? Well, that smoke will do the job, actually. That'll force the issue. They can hold the high ground now. I don't know if they heard Yekenda fall off. There's a chance he could still be up top. Automatic holding angles as his teammates fall through. Standard stuff with the AWP, but very strong stuff. Yekenda trying to do what he can. 12 seconds for the bomb to get planted. I think it will. Jame has to hold on to the AWP now. They had their chances.
Yeah, you can't risk losing that off at this point. You gotta back off and just try and save. And Gen.G, I mean, you could hunt. Sure, if you want, but you know it's a buy round in the next round anyway. So it may not be worth it. You're just going to get, they're just going to go ahead and you should maybe just keep building your bank right now. Buster with the headshot on automatic. That's the AWP down for Gen.G. Gen.G, you're going to have to come over here and get this. You can't let Buster just camp this this AWP. You need to get rid of this now. You need to get rid of him. But there's Jame catching Exist. Oh man, this got so expensive for Gen.G.
What's huge is double AWPs now for Virtus.pro as well. They've got a second AWP for free.
Whoa.
Which means they get plenty more grenades, which is enormous. That's not too shabby. However, they still have to win the rounds. And it's weird. It feels like if one thing went wrong in some of these rounds Gen.G did on their late execute stat, maybe it would end in disaster. But it just hasn't gone wrong. So
no, they've got
I feel like Gen.G is still firmly in control.
Yeah, that's the wild thing right now. It feels like Virtus.pro are the ones who just don't really have an answer. They're missing their shots, VP, when they get the chance. Although obviously, you know, you had those post those post-round kills there, but that's more just economic damage. It's not winning you the round. It may set you up for success here, however. Oh, this is looking like a good full buy coming in here from Gen.G. They're fully equipped, and so now once again we're back to a waiting game to see if VP are going to cave or crumble under the pressure.
Where Kusta was on the right-hand side is where you'd line up a Molotov for the sandwich position. I'll call it out if we see it later. It's a good one to learn for those of you at home. Exist lurking around Ivy. Buster waiting for him on the other side. You can see he's looking to show some presence now. Buster doesn't fire the shot, doesn't give the info. Some junk thrown.
Just trying to create noise.
Yeah. No rotation, though. VP still with 3 on the B bomb site. They'll ignore this. Moving away from Ivy, and here's automatic again with the entries. So consistent with the AWP. Here's the rotation. Virtus.pro threatening to lose everything again.
This is looking so rough for them right now, VP. They can't seem to win a duel. Automatic he's really got that drop into lower dialed in with that AWP. There's several times now he's found kills from that position, opening it up. And again, there's the flank. Oh, Exists on the lurk. Not going to find it. That needed to happen. A third kill there would have been monstrous. VP would have been in a real tight spot in terms of economy. Now with 3 alive, they may be able to get a force buy going into the next round. But man, this is Gen.G just powering on the T side. They have not been sleeping, James. You know, everybody's kind of writing these guys off, underestimating them, and they're taking full advantage of that. Cool, underestimate us. Great. We'll just go ahead and keep, we'll just keep getting these rounds. We'll keep winning these duels, and you'll keep getting more and more frustrated.
Yeah, I believe in the likes of automatic. Very cool-headed, calm, focused individual. He's not here just to make up the numbers, that's for sure. These entries, though, I might have to watch this demo back.
Yeah, they've been brilliant.
They've been really, really strong, and I haven't really seen anybody with an answer for him. 12-5, he leads the server. Automatic. It's a lot of money in those hands of that knife and those gloves. And he's making things very expensive for Virtus.pro as well. But they've got the 2 AWPs once again. And here we've got some more aggression. Again, a lot of the aggression's been around main with mixed results. They've taken it for a while. Very quick shot from Automatic. Trying to flash Buster off the angle, but the smoke will do one better.
Yeah, gets rid of him. Gen.G and Pop Dog as well could be cleared out, but for now, seems like Gen.G are intent on just taking over Brown Halls, getting as much room over here as possible. So once they have Brown Halls, that gives them access to the B site. And Automatic is not, or rather Exist is the one who's rotated over. Automatic is over towards A main now, but Exist is going to be lurking. We saw him here this last round as well, making noise. Forward position is coming in from VP though, man. They're really wanting to try and find a kill early and then be able to fall back. They hope to catch somebody coming around a corner here. And a fresh smoke going down on A main at 50 seconds left is not something that bodes super well here for Gen.G.
What's worse is Virtus.pro still have 3 more smokes behind them.
Yeah, this you know, they have all those, like the utility here. There's still nearly full utility on Gen.G as well. It's crazy. We're at 30 seconds left and everybody's almost got full nades.
Yeah, 2 of those smokes are on the B bomb site. However, Sanji with 3 people here, no one to stop him from ladder room. Oh god, if Automatic gets this entry and he doesn't drop the smoke, that could be everything. He's dropped it just in time, but he's fallen as well. And here's the entry they were looking for. Down goes Kustar. Yekendar's up close by the smoke though. Surely the bomb doesn't get planted this time. 3 on the site. KiNK rotating through as well. Down goes Krias, down goes Bentet. Just Exist now to try and do as much impact as possible. And they'll survive with 4. Slow pace, not working for Gen.G on that occasion. Needs to bait some more grenades out earlier.
Exactly. That's exactly what you got to take away from that. That's what's so shocking about that round, and what we're not used to seeing is that many nades still in play that late into the round. It means that Gen.G are being a bit too quiet, not forcing Virtus.pro to use that utility. And while, you know, you need to kind of use, you got to spend money to make money. You got to use your utility as well to try and bait some utility out of Virtus.pro. And so, yeah, VP were just perfectly ready for that. 8-4. Gen.G still in the lead on the T side, but VP, you know, at least they managed to break that streak. It was 4 rounds in a row for Gen.G, and Sanji this time is quick enough to catch K.R.A.E.
Yeah, we saw that molly last round. I was quite impressed with how it seemed to be done sideways, no less, but it's going to be very costly this time. That's real estate. They can't afford to lose. Yekendar must be careful though, because so it's just no respect style. Maybe with the flashes coming out, he hasn't even been hurt by Yekendar just yet. I think maybe just now turning around, wondering what might be going on. Positioned very carefully. Kuz has a great opportunity. Does he realize Yekendar's above him? Instant trade from Buster. Very fast moving now. Bomb's been spotted perhaps with Automatic. He's surely not going to jump down. I think he was considering it.
He's definitely thinking of it. Oh, now slowing down the pace again. You have a single flash. Smoke is going to be going in, it looks like. Yep.
Oh,
nice
my
shot.
days.
Again, dude. Again, he pulls off that shot. He's so dialed in on this position. 14 kills for Automatic. He could find another one. I'm pretty sure he spotted the man back of the train there.
So much time left as well for them. Faking the plant. Inviting them out for Automatic. Lambs to the slaughter.
I Exist. 1v2. Time to clutch. Time to put on one of the ninja demonstrations here. How do you murder your opponents in the night?
Oh, passing ships. Oh, God. It is the night after all. Has he been spotted by Buster? I think he has. I'm pretty sure he has. Up Buster goes. Sanji just creeping, just around the corner in time. And now surely Buster can find an angle. Towards oil he goes. Sanji off the bomb. He has a kit as well. There he goes. Round number 5 for Virtus.pro. Not really the scoreline they were hoping for, but they're getting there.
To be fair, that was a very ninja-like thing to just cross just out of the field of view. You know, you're thinking that would have worked out wonderfully had he caught that man on the bomb site. That would have been it. Unfortunately for Exist, just does not pan out this time.
I don't know how many entries Automatic's got from that one position, but generally speaking, he's got to have the most entries on the server right now.
Yeah, he's so dialed in. I mean, and that's, you got to get that timing down perfectly. You got to be ready to take that shot as soon as your feet touch the ground, and he just keeps nailing the timing. Spot on. So 8-5. A little bit of,
Bit of sideways head.
Bit of a sideways head there. You know, maybe you got to look at things from a different angle, right? That's what's going on with VP. Just changing it up a little
Lost
bit here.
in translation there.
What do we? I mean, we still have money for a buy coming in from Gen.G, so it looks like just a little bit of a pause there to talk things over. Could get a change of pace to just straight up B play very early on here. That'd be fun to see.
Well then, Virtus.pro have an opportunity for 7. This is a very key round for them because Gen.G have finally run out of money after this buy. You see Exist with the Galil, Kriaz with 0 grenades. Kriaz formerly of mixed team Mbappe Peak. Saw them in the Red Bull flick. The 2v2.
What this is early towards B. Kusta, all right, similar to the pistol round here. Kusta will be hanging out over here towards Ivy. He'll catch anybody out or at least make some noise. And this is all with the intent of driving attention towards this B side here. As Kreese takes point, Molly goes down. He does have the room here, however. Still an angle for him to work. James is going to be cutting fairly low. Buster has caught Kusta, and James takes it down. Bomb is going to get planted, but James is not going to miss that shot.
Automatic and Exist remain. They've got to go for the round win. Damage won't be enough as it's last round, next round. Automatic with the flank. Exist trying to run distraction. Has he done enough? Automatic looking for the transfer, but it's James' time with the AWP. 3 alive for VP. Round number 6.
Yeah, quad kill for James in the round. That's the turret on full display there. Just set up way back with the AWP and pick them off one at a time. Couldn't have asked for a better round there from James. Perfect play. So 15th round, they get the bomb plant, so that's a little bit of a saving grace for Gen.G going into the 15th round. You at least have a little bit more money. Had you not got that bomb plant, it would have looked pretty grim. What's going on?
Not sure if he has had a coffee today.
Yeah, gotta wake up a little bit here.
Yeah, if James the turret of the server, and I think Automatic's the turret with spider legs, robotic spider legs, the plays he's been making on this T side. Sanji will make his way over. Not picked off by Buster this time. It was Bentet, I think, actually. Yekindar, very close indeed. Is there a pop flash for him? Oh, he's just going to go in there dry, and that's not going to be really good for him. Plenty of chafing, courtesy of Kusta. That'll give Gen.G an early 5 versus 4. And they need it. 5 Galils, almost no utility. James got something to say. There is a swarm on this A bomb site, though, and Virtus.pro are losing position.
Did they hear the footsteps there? Was he close enough to hear Sanji? Kreese is still hanging around, and he's going to get this timing on Sanji, and it seems like they're aware of it. Automatic keeps looking back towards Pop Dog, and yep, sure enough, going to catch Sanji out. Perfectly played there by Kreese, just communicating that information over to his team so that the flank is impossible. And so man advantage going into the last round here, post-plant situation. Gen.G get to defend the site. Virtus.pro hoping that they can find a kill as the smoke clears.
Just trying to delay with these flashes. Exist will eat it. Hard to call that one so high. Now, has Buster got a gap? I think his feet are going to be spotted by Bentet. There will be a trade. 2 more players coming from Old Bomb. Man advantage for Gen.G. Bentet keeps on going. James is surrounded. He has a kit, but not much else. 9 rounds for Gen.G. A monstrous half from them, especially from Spiderlegs Automatic. All over the shop with his AWP. We'll see if it continues after the break. From our resident stripper, Maui Snake. The way Gen.G pushes and pulls on train is some of the most interesting CS I have seen in a while. Really innovative macro movements, and it's clearly confusing Virtus.pro right now. Huge props to Kusta, even if they don't come out ahead by the end of this series. And also, Anders said that Gen.G uses Pop Dog Smoke, which is, I'm assuming, what they boosted over. I asked him to tweet me, though, so we'll find out if it was something else. Either way, very mentally stimulating game of train thus far. Now it's Virtus.pro's turn to be the aggressors. It's a very difficult CT side for them, but with 3 rounds in it, yes, they've got a lot of work to do on his T side, but not out of the realm of possibility.
That's where you hold your breath. The entire time you're just waiting. Who's going to win that duel? Because the peak is coming, James, and one of them is dying. One of them is going to take a bullet to the face, and it ain't going to be pretty. And it's Yakinder who loses it. So, man advantage for Gen.G on the CT side here. 9-6 the scoreline, and looking so good, Gen.G. They are just so confident. They are playing like guys who have nothing to lose, which they don't. All they do is have, everything that's going for them. They've just got, money to gain, Gen.G. There's $1 million on the line. And these guys are just here to ruin it for all of these, full-time rosters, full rosters, actual teams. Yeah, get out of here.
Bomb makes his way towards the A-bomb site. Exists position is very important if he can survive. Around the corner comes KiNK. Blind from somewhere, exists with the knife out, somehow still alive, able to rotate and fall back. In the meantime, Bented and Kusta send the bomb flying into the sky. Kills all over the shop, and it's double figures for Gen.G. They take the pistol. Wham bam, thank you, man.
What a meme. How does Exist live through that? And then he even, even when he's not there, he's drawing attention. They still have to think that, oh crap, we got to deal with Exist over here. Yeah, no, that sets it up perfectly for Bentet to just pick everybody off. Virtus.pro, what is going on right now?
Yeah, this really shows some promise in this series at the very least. Gen.G, a team who apparently were trying to pick up Liaz.
Dude, Anders is going to be so insufferable. We can't. No.
I'm wondering how far he could go up the leaderboards if they do win.
Times 4, 750 times 4. Dude.
Oh, God.
Oh.
I'll still be winning. It's fine. Everything's fine.
How
could he be in first place?
Be in first place, apparently. He would get 2K points for this.
But how many points does he?
Yeah, but hold on. Bardolph, dude, Bardistan is a wealthy nation.
How would I lose 750? I only bet 250 on this. Well, my money's in the next game.
Listen,
anyway.
Dude, I am last place right now. I am the one who should be pissed. Woo! Yakinder, though. Going to get caught by Kreese. Kreese goes down. Still fair trade. 3-on-3 retake now coming in from Gen.G. Bomb has not been planted yet either. They have a little bit of time. And that might work in Virtus.pro's favor. Gen.G right now can't know if this bomb has rotated back to A or not.
Well, they've gone for the side plant. They've got to get the bomb planted because then they could potentially force buy in the next round. Should this not go their way, Sanji would attack 9 completely blind, as is Exist. 2 versus 2. Sanji dancing around the smoke. Now it's just Sanji. Oh, he's been spotted. Now, how does he take an angle for the bomb with 2 HP, trying to dance around, but Gen.G have outmaneuvered him again. Bobby Big Brain on Gen.G. Kusta goes round the back.
Catches him.
But with this plant, surely they force buy here.
Dude, well, yeah, there you go. There's your answer. Don't even get to guess about it. Sanji straight up buys the hero AK. Maybe he just takes the hit. Maybe he just buys the hero AK, and the rest of them just go for that half buy. Is that a thing? We get that. We get the Russian AK.
There we go. All in.
Let's go, boys.
It's a gamble worth taking. Although, despite only 2 players surviving, Gen.G have got such a solid buy. It's quite surprising, actually. The AWP on automatic as well. Even managed to get some Kevlar. This could take Virtus.pro by survive, but they need to try and force their way back into this before Gen.G get too close to that 16th round. Well, Sanji is the hero no longer. Dead on Ivy. And James soon to follow.
They can't win a duel, James.
Kusta's living his best life. Since Moses almost ruined his career, he's come back with a vengeance.
Dude, Automatic gets out of that in one piece. It's almost as if VP are just shooting rubber bullets right now. They cannot seem to get a kill. Less than lethal. That's very much what it feels like. As Kreese is going to catch Kicker looking the wrong way. Smoke goes down. Buster going to cross to the site. At least they get the bomb plant. So, again, bonus money going into the next round. And this is brutal, dude. A flawless round for Gen.G. All 5 survive. They're going to save AKs. They've got M4s, AKs, AWPs, and VP. If they go for a force buy here, it's not going to be pretty. You got to go for just a half buy here, VP. You got to take it in the teeth.
Yeah, this is so strong. I feel like if Gen.G can make a run in this tournament, it's going to be so hard to predict their matches.
It'd be so sick. Oh, it's just going to throw it's going to make it impossible, yeah.
Yeah, we just don't know what they're capable of now. Some 4x3 action.
It's as if they, they're fueled by the doubt. Oh, they're not taking us seriously. We'll show them. See? That's what's going on right now. Maybe, or it's just North American teams, right? I keep thinking, for whatever reason, I think back to Cloud9, right, when they won the major. And wasn't that team already going to disband? Weren't they just like done with it already? It was like failed project. Didn't Gen.G say that?
They had some issues, yeah.
Yeah, they had some issues. So it's like they just played to play. They didn't play with any pressure, right? They just played. And I'm wondering if we're getting that same feel from Gen.G right now, where it's like they're just playing. There's no pressure.
Great area control with the incendiary. Kriaz trying to isolate the fight or trade for his teammate as well. Try to hold down the position. Gun goes flying the way of the T's, however, but don't think they'll catch it in the smoke. Sanji and Buster remain. Bomb plant would be very, very nice, and Sanji will be the last one to die. 1 kill, not enough. I mean, VP just needs to really focus on the round wins, but we have to pay attention to it. This is a money-making round for Gen.G. And they've got such a strong lead as well. This is just fantastic. 4 rounds in a row for Gen.G. VP will get that bomb planted now. And, well, it's leaving you wondering, what do we have in store for us on Inferno at this point? You got to be, a Gen.G that's playing this confidently are capable of anything. Inferno, everybody knows how to play Inferno. This is the pick of Gen.G. And I'm loving what I'm seeing, despite what it means to the leaderboard. I'm a huge fan of Automatic. I want to see him succeed. I want to see him do well. I'm a huge fan of Virtus.pro as well, actually. So, great CS is being played. This is just the first map. Buster behind enemy lines. Get your VHS ready. Looking for the multi-frag.
But who's going to jump first?
Maybe waiting for a rotation from Ivy, perhaps.
Oh, no, that wasn't behind enemy lines. That was enemy at the gates. Snipers.
Oh, no!
Get
He
wrecked.
spanned too fast.
Speaking of snipers, there's Automatic, there's Bentet Chim, and it is all Kicker. He does manage to pull 1 back. Automatic, though, not going to have any of that. 2 kills for him, 3 alive for Gen.G, and James is alone, and it certainly is his time to shine. He has to keep Gen.G from reaching that 14th round, and unfortunately for him, he is going to get spotted very early on by Automatic. 3 kills for Automatic at the end of the round, 14-6, and Gen.G are looking fabulous. They are looking so fresh. Whereas VP, I don't know. It's a real struggle right now for Virtus.pro, it seems.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. But again, it's all credit to Gen.G. They are simply playing very, very strong.
They are. They're playing without fear. They are winning all their duels. Automatic is at 21 kills right now.
Will there be some spray through the smoke? Because this is very close to the smoke, so those traces would be easier to punish. Kindar moving through. Oh, showing a bit of arse on the side. Bit of bubble butts. Back to the site now, and he's dead. 4 on 4. Area is secure as far as Gen.G are concerned. No one close to pop at present. There is a smoke up, but not for long. 2 VP players moving up Ivy. Got Kusta with an off angle now. Gen.G pretty far back on the B bomb site. May see something aggressive from Automatic with the AWP. Moving towards upper B. Got Bentet round connector. But look at this procession from Virtus.pro in the Ivy position. Kusta, oh god, has he been seen there?
No,
I think he may have been.
Surprise, surprise! So good. Dude, Kusta just had to do that, didn't he? Well, now, I mean, what are you going to do if you're kickered and busted? You got to worry about the back line. Bentet is up here in heaven, and he is going to be striking down with righteous fury. There it is. You get the plant, but that's all you get. Beautiful round coming in from Gen.G. What a performance from Kusta. That was the hero. That was the hero play.
Well, This has been an impressive performance so far. Every round in the second half, a stark difference to Virtus.pro CT half. A shocking start to this series, but a great one. This is as competitive as we want to see it. VP, you've got to be the stronger team long term, but for Gen.G to start this way is fantastic. Many opportunities to close it out now. Virtus.pro may need to walk around the block after this one. Nice opening kill, though, from Jane.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need a break. Dude, map point, and that is the opening kill. Jame finally chiming in, waking up a little bit here. He's leading the board for Virtus.pro with 14 kills. But they've barely made it into double digits on VP. This I can appreciate. Just gather up all four. You're light on nades. You're going to have a smoke for lower, 2 flashes, and just bum rush it. Bum rush the B side. Go, go, go.
Sanji's been heard. Kusta will hear that clip of the Molotov, but in the meantime, we've got 4-man on roads on the B bomb site. Automatic going for the flick, not quite hitting that. The Lurkin Sanji's been eliminated around the back of the A bomb site. Flashbang for a swing from Connector. Meanwhile, Bentek creeps up. Yekendar's he's got all the off angles in the world, honestly. That one will be successful. Man advantage now for Virtus.pro. And it gets better. This one's not over just yet. The run may be unlikely, but it's still possible.
Yeah, you're almost thinking... I mean, James got an op, so it doesn't matter. You've got money to buy full in the next round anyways if you're Gen.G, so you almost want to try and take guns off of VP. There you go. Another one. If you could get a third one, that would be fantastic. I'm curious, can K.R.A.E find an angle? It's not looking likely, though. It's looking like they'll be able to make it out. So this is the best they can hope for here, Gen.G. Unfortunate that they couldn't get a third kill and really apply pressure on VP's economy. What? What? Jame!
Oh, no.
Jame! Oh, Buster saves the op at least, but what?
Too close. A lack of focus, perhaps.
He just did the job for them.
Yeah, that's a little extra money, but as long as they can fall by, see how it goes. Nice opening kill from Jame. Well then, that's 1 round in the bag. 8 more to go to tie the score.
Absolutely possible. This is CS after all.
2 AWPs now for Gen.G. 4 play starting on the A bomb site. Nothing untoward there. Early map control towards upper B. Presence shown. May cause a second play to rotate towards B, but for now, K.R.A.E is comfortable on his lonesome. Gen.G look aggressive towards main, actually. You can see automatic creeping with the AWP. Once he's in position, we may see a rotation, and by the looks of it, they need one.
I mean, I thought Bentet was going to be an utter madman and just charge up the ladder for Pop Dog quick. K.R.A.E turns away just as they come around the corner.
Oh, dear God.
No way! He has no way of knowing. Just like that, the round is over for Gen.G.
Kusta making his way round the back. We'll see what he can do about it. Misses the flick. And that self-preservation incendiary. Yekendar maybe considering hunting. Looks like he will be. But automatic will save his teammate, his brethren.
Yeah, that was crucial.
Yeah.
And now you're going to have the gentleman's agreement. Okay, we save, you guys save, everybody saves, and this round never happened. Except that for VP, that's 1 more round on the board. So going to get them up to 8. And that was just really interesting. Timing-wise, where K.R.A.E turns away right as they come. But even then, I think he's screwed because he's alone and everybody else is miles away on the rotation.
Yeah.
So that's just VP hit the exact spot they needed to on the map to find success that round.
With automatic being very close towards main, it was Kusta rotating off of Ivy with the AWP, but that was just, I guess, a timing-based one. That shows the brutality of timing in Counter-Strike. Just 1 pixel late, basically, as far as Gen.G are concerned. But here we go. They saved most of their weapons. They've got full utility, loads of defuse kits, all helmets. They've got everything they want, basically, including an automatic who is 23 for 9. Gen.G with a 3-man investment towards the bomb site. We might see a meeting of the minds here. Bentet playing anti-flash while the angle's being held by K.R.A.E. Exists on the high ground as well. They're going to stand and fight here. Bentet will start off the proceedings as Jame peek. They know there are multiple players here. They're going to stand and fight Virtus.pro, but it might not work their way. Jame in the flames, still alive somehow. If he dies, he loses the bomb. In the meantime, Sanji's made his way onto the A bomb site, so he may call the rotation. But the angles are coming with the AWP, and there's Kusta just to make the chances even worse. Game point, let's not forget.
Oh, man. What a shot from Kusta. That was so crucial. And Automatic now is just going to he's just going to check to make sure that they haven't pushed out through a main either. But this is just Gen.G with the lockdown now. If you're Virtus.pro, you've got to feel like you're being constricted on. And at this point, I mean, Gen.G just need to play the clock. 50 seconds left. All you do is wait for VP to they have to make a play for the bomb site. You don't need to peek. You've got great map control so far, spread out around. You just have to wait for VP to eventually make their way to a bomb site and attempt to plant the bomb. That's all you have to do here. And now the bomb's been spotted. Why are they pushing?
Oh, God, there it is.
There you go.
There it is. You can throw all the junk in there now. And James, he can't afford to run through this. He's got 22 HP. Oh, no! Oh, my God. Shrapnel, close casket, funeral. Not even dental records remain. 16-8 for Gen.G. A devastating victory in the first map of this series. Their pick a train. What do you think of that?
I think that's fantastic. Elma Putty, he's had their back the entire time as well. But these guys, they're here in Europe. They came to perform, and they certainly are doing just that. I mean, that is such an impressive performance on this first map, James.
Virtus.pro caught sleeping. Can they wake up for the second map? Find out after the break.
Train would be the first destination in this best-of-3 series at Flashpoint 2, and a dominant showing from Gen.G to close it out in their favor, 16-8. Of course, Thorin and Hawker join me to dissect this first map of the series, and a very impressive performance from Gen.G to be starting things off here.
Yeah, especially because, as they've shown us in both of these games, they can do it on both sides. This is actually a very legit map. They seem to understand it well. Again, they can play the slow game. It isn't just rushes. I'll just say this right now. Virtus.pro was 100% on this map in the last 3 months. They won all 6 occasions they played it. So it's not even like, as we said, we maybe speculated in the first series against OG. It was a specific punish pick. Maybe you just prep for that.
Yeah, definitely not. It definitely wasn't indeed. Of course, we can see the guys from Gen.G celebrating their win there. Of course, we'll be going on to Inferno very, very shortly, but I think we should start off by talking about the great T-side that there was to start things off, Hawker, because we were saying, you know, we felt like VP might be putting up more of a fight on that CT side, but there were some great looks from Gen.G throughout that.
Yeah, definitely. I think in terms of their T side coming into this for Gen.G, I was talking about how I wasn't sure how deep their strat book would be. That was the big question in my mind, because I felt like in that game against OG, they were getting away with a lot of pushes out through A main that they maybe shouldn't have. And if we go ahead and get into the replays later, we're going to see a lot of rounds where Gen.G were actually pressuring areas of the map and making it really uncomfortable for VP.
Well, yeah, let's get straight into that. We've got a couple of rounds that we want to be dissecting here. So what are happening in these two?
So in this first one, this is something that Gen.G were able to get away with a lot against OG. They were able to go for these A main pushes, but here Sanji denies it straight away. They get aggressive towards A main. They don't let Gen.G get out of this position, and because of that, VP can lock this round down. This was a round that Gen.G were running a lot against OG and making it work. In this one, they don't get it to work, but this was the switch up. Automatic there is solo pressuring Ivy, getting early kills for his team. The rest of the squad are pushing out through A main. I think this is a really good round to encapsulate how Gen.G were playing, where one player would pressure one area of the map, really make it difficult for VP to be able to hold the bomb sites. He's drawing a lot of attention there away by himself, AWP in close range, and then the rest of the team can just explode out onto that bomb site.
Yeah, it was very impressive to see, and as you were kind of alluding to there, Duncan, you know, it wasn't just a punish pick for OG in that previous series. It's clear that, you know, Kusta and his men, they really have a clear game plan coming into it.
Yeah, and actually, if you went back to Flashpoint 1, this was one of the maps where they were really up and down on it. Like, it took a lot from them. They relied sometimes on Sob. He isn't even in the team anymore. They used to have Dabs, totally different style of in-game leader. So, generally, I mean, in the very early outings, you've got to give Kusta top marks for being nice. Look at the T-sides he's putting together against these teams.
It's incredibly impressive. And another player that we didn't actually get a chance to touch upon in our pre-game analysis segment was Automatic as well. And Monty brought up a very interesting point in the green room. Of course, we saw him going towards that AWP back at Flashpoint 1. People were, you know, saying they feel like he should be going back to that rifle. But in this series, very instrumental plays from him.
Yeah, a lot of rounds where he was landing close range AWP shots as well. This boost was really nicely set up for him. I think you could see that Gen.G were allowing Automatic that freedom to make some of these plays where he was pressuring the map. I've got to say, I would love to see if this sort of performance is repeatable from Automatic, because so many of these AWP shots were fairly close range, and normally those are the ones that are going to be quite hard to hit for a lot of AWPers. But hey, if Automatic's going to keep playing like this, if he's going to be a real star player for this team, that's the Gen.G I want to see.
And actually, we had them pull the stats. He hasn't particularly gone away or towards the AWP more. Basically, it's the same kind of usage rate as before earlier in the year. Like, he's getting just over half of his kills with the AWP when he plays.
Yeah, it's very impressive stuff from him indeed. I do want to talk about VP a little bit in this one, though, because I know, Alex, you were saying, you know, there was going to be a lot of pressure going onto that CT side. You felt like you'd be putting up more of a fight here. Do you feel like it was just Gen.G, you know, giving a really, really good game plan, or were there some holes on the VP defense?
I think for VP, the issue they had was that they were letting just one player push into a position that just made it so difficult for them to react to it. So many times you'd see Bentet maybe pushing down the B ramp and starting to draw a rotation towards B, and he'd just take a 1v1 fight, and then all of a sudden VP are out of position because they're starting to rotate over ahead of time. There were a lot of rounds like that where it felt like VP didn't get a proper chance to set up their defense. And I think, honestly, I give more credit to Gen.G there than anything else. I think Gen.G were doing a good job at making it difficult for VP.
Yeah, and it was a tweet that Maui brought up, and I believe James was talking about during the game as well. The sort of micro movements of this Gen.G side, being able to create space and put that pressure on it when they needed to against VP. It was very good to see.
Yeah, and since we know they're not a team that had a month to boot camp and prep and all this, like some of the other squads out there that maybe have underperformed, that tells me, like, Kusta's got his men prepared, the coach Elmer Putty's been able to communicate to them. I mean, you saw that, like, the AWP boost they had for Automatic, that's prepared. That's not something you do on the fly. Like, they're coming in with these setups. So, at least on this one map so far, they have trained down. So, we've got that in the back pocket. Let's see what else they've got.
Yeah, that's a big question mark indeed. Of course, Inferno will be our second map in this best of 3 series. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are for Gen.G going into this one.
I'm looking straight at the T side for VP and how Gen.G are able to deal with it, because VP are normally great on the T side of this map. Especially on Banana, you're going to see Buster taking a lot of early fights. He seems to have a really good understanding as to how to get openings on that area of the map, and the aggression that VP can throw at you could make it really difficult for this Gen.G roster, especially towards B is mainly where I'm looking, because I want to see who's holding that B site. Do we see something similar where it's Exist and Kriaz playing towards B and working together? Do we see something where we're going to see a mix-up of players? Because here on Train, we didn't really see that same coordination between those two Swedish players. There's a lot to be answered for Inferno, and it's normally a map where you have to be very structured, and that's a big question mark.
Well, of course, lots of questions going into this one, and we won't have to wait a moment longer to find out some of the answers. The wonderful Summer and James are here to guide you through the second map of the series.